So, you are the captain of the women's club soccer team here at Wazoo. So, what's the difference between club sport and university sport?
So university sports, you are sponsored by the university. So all of your, you can have a scholarship paid. So that includes like school and your housing and food and all your equipment. Where a club is more of a recreation, but at a competitive level, it's different. It's more similar to intramural because you have to volunteer for it, but you are actually competing against people who know what they're doing. So we actually travel kind of a lot, which is cool. We went to California last year. So they're similar, but they're different in the sense that no one's paying us to do it. We want to do anything that we want to do, we have to pay for it. So it's cool that way.
So, are there like tryouts for these types of clubs? So, in order to be on like any club sport, they hold like a tryout, and is it sort of a is it like is it more formal than say intramural sport?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the competitiveness of the team, because some teams have lower numbers where they take everybody that tries out, but we only take about 21 to 22 on the roster, and about 50 to 60 girls come out. So it totally just depends on the sport.
Nice. And you said you are the captain of the team. Okay. So, what sort of responsibilities, or maybe some like hidden responsibilities, or not hidden, but like underlying, like not sort of out in the open responsibilities that as the captain you have on the team?
So it's kind of unique with the women's club team because we don't have a coach, and so a lot of that, and we don't have anyone who's running the background stuff, if that makes sense. So fundraising, marketing, like all of that stuff, we have to do it. Last year, when I wasn't captain yet, but I was thinking about doing the position, I raised, I think, like $1,500 just in 3 weeks from getting different fundraisers started and helping the girls start that. So that's kind of one of the big main things, is that anything, again, that we want to do, we have to pay for it. So making sure that we have enough money and fields and referees, like all of that is done. So we have a lot of more of the administrative responsibilities as well as like on the field stuff. So
So that's interesting because I didn't know that. So it's more you're dealing with kind of both ends of the spectrum here. So what are some you said on the field responsibilities? What are some of the most important that you would say?
Probably keeping the team morale and making sure that everybody's there and unified and that we're a team, because team sports don't work if the team isn't a team. A good example of that would be last year, a couple of the seniors, they were pretty headstrong, and it was definitely a shift seeing the younger, because I was new last year too, so it was definitely a shift when they left, just kind of seeing how the team morale went, because it wasn't just about the individual, it was about the team. And so kind of seeing that growth from the beginning of the year to like the end of the season was really cool. So
nice. So what is the team's, you think, on the soccer field, what is the team's biggest strength?
Our strength is probably our ability to pick each other up. Like each of us has, like, I'm totally guilty of it. Like if I have like bad passes or bad touches, like you kind of shut down, but being able to get each other back up off that, like out of that little rut, and kind of having like a shake, like it's okay to go sit out and like get your stuff back together, but just being able to pick each other up, I think, is what's really unique and important about our team, because a lot of teams have that capability, so it's pretty cool.
And what is something that you would like to see your team improve throughout the course of the season?
I would like to see them just, I don't know, keep growing, because we have a lot of inside jokes with everybody and everybody gets along really well. So I guess I just want to see how far that can go. This is kind of bad, but I felt more of a family from this like past year with my soccer team than with my sorority. So, and that says a lot, because you're supposed to find your bridesmaids in your sorority and all that stuff, but I don't know, I feel more at home playing soccer, so I guess I feel like there's other girls who are like that too, so I don't know, we'll see.
Would you say that, but like you said, would you say that creating that good atmosphere, would you say that that is probably the most important part of your job?
Oh yeah, I mean, making sure that like the leaders of whatever you're doing, like, I mean, that goes with like a business place, and like being able to teach those skills and really, I don't know, because no one wants to be anywhere that they don't want to, that they're not happy or they don't feel included or that they belong. And that's kind of something that, like, I'm sure everybody struggled with. Like, I totally struggled with it my sophomore year here and a little bit of my junior year, and I found that home, like, being on the soccer team. So, and it's weird that it took me so long to get back to what made me happy. So, yeah.
Nice. We're here with Andy Hammond, Washington State University, senior, major in kinesiology. Andy, did you watch the Mayweather-McGregor fight on Saturday?
Yeah.
And how did you think that a man with really no boxing experience coming into this for the first time, how do you think McGregor fared?
I think McGregor actually did pretty well in the first probably like 5 rounds. It seemed like he actually could stand a chance, but in the later rounds it was I think either fatigue was like a part of it or Mayweather just might have been playing with him.
First 3 rounds went to Conor, and you're right. He's used to a 25-minute round, and once he got to round 10, you could see that he was gassed. Do you think that was all part of Floyd's plan, was to kind of take the punches early and then finish him in the later rounds?
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that.
All right. So going off of that, into MMA, John Jones defeated Daniel Cormier in his UFC title fight, and then afterwards found out that he had tested positive for a steroid that is illegal in the UFC. What do you think that sort of in terms of the advantage, what do you think that the advantage of taking that in the UFC?
It would depend on the steroid he took, but I mean, for the past 2 years, he had a bunch of videos of him like weightlifting like incredible amounts, and I mean the strength he would gain, he would definitely give him even more of an advantage than he already did.
In the 2 rounds that the fight did happen, Cormier got kicked in the head by one of Jones's head kicks, and really that was sort of the catalyst of the fight. Do you think that any type of a steroid could have that big of an effect on the actual KO that happened in that fight?
Yeah, but I feel like leading up to that, there definitely was some strategy involved with what he was doing now. So, like, as a fighter, I would still say Jones is like outclasses Daniel Cormier, but the steroid definitely gave him even more of an advantage.
Do you think that this sort of thing tarnishes Jones's prolific career in the UFC?
Definitely.
Do you think that the UFC will ever let him fight again?
I would imagine so, but if the steroid he took was like he meant to use it, then I would imagine his ban would be very long. So I'd think he would fight, but he wouldn't come back the same though.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's move back to boxing. Floyd Mayweather, 50-0 in his career. Do you think he is the greatest boxer ever?
I haven't really watched a lot of boxing, but I mean his record speaks for itself, and he's fought like a lot of the big name guys.
Do you think that his impact on the sport even comes close to, say, that of like Muhammad Ali or George Frazier, people along those lines?
I'm not sure, because Muhammad Ali was like a big figure, and for not only just boxing, but other movements as well. So I don't think Mayweather has like any other interests except for money. So I mean, he's a great fighter, but I don't think he's as big of a name as Muhammad Ali.
One last question. Conor McGregor, no matter what you say about the guy, lasted 10 rounds, won a couple rounds actually. Do you think if he wanted to, do you think he could have a career in boxing?
I think so, because it seems like whatever he's ever put his mind to, he's accomplished.